Hello, everybody. This is
Hi,
Sudha
Sarah.
Jamte, and this is the IoT show and a special one on IoT Day. And we are doing round the clock from various different time zones. And today we have two special guests, and we have them from two different locations. We have Damir from Brno, Czech Republic, and Orlando from Sintra, Portugal. And you will see very soon why both of them are here on the same line. They're trying to optimize on talking to me on a similar time zone. I think you're one time zone away. So
Yeah.
with that, let us get started. Damir, you've been on our show before. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what is your passion for IoT, and what do you do?
Well, I did a lot of jobs, previously, and just last year, when I got hooked up on IoT, I was running the startup accelerator.
Yeah.
So practically the whole 2015 was very, hectic, very active. I learned a lot of things, and luckily I forgot a lot of things.
So where
But
was the
eventually,
startup accelerator? What was it? What is it called?
it was called the South Moravian Innovation Center, and the accelerator was StarCube.
Yeah.
And last year, what I did, I moved the borders as they were, put before. So I invited a lot of foreign teams to help the domestic ones, actually do better business. So I had teams coming from 4 continents. In fact, five continents. We had people coming from, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and maybe I missed something, but doesn't matter.
America.
Americas, yeah, there's one team, but that's amazing for them. Same purpose that someone is willing to actually start their business in Czech Republic. Because here we are not London, we are not Silicon Valley, we are not Israel, but they come here, they do it, and they actually exit successfully.
Okay.
So at the end of last year, there was a lot of traction, and then I decided to simply move forward. So I left the accelerator and then started doing a lot of freelancing until my colleague Orlando invited me to also join his company to help him, as a co-founder and operations officer. That's why he's also with us on the call, because honestly, I'm amazed what he does.
That's cool.
He is having ideas which I even cannot comprehend in the beginning, but later on it makes fantastic sense. But I believe, I will leave it for him to say it. I think he is way better in this. And my love for IoT, as I said, started a year ago, and it's only progressing continuously. It's progressing so far that actually I have some other project as well in the pipeline, and that's going to happen in the following 2 to 3 weeks.
I'm guessing the way you're saying it, it is top secret. You're going to not going to tell us now.
I could tell you, later a bit, just what it's about, but I cannot reveal more.
Okay, that's fine. We can wait. We can talk to you again. So with that, let us go to Orlando. Hello, Orlando. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
Yeah, tell us
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I'm CEO and founder of Sensefinity. And in Sensefinity, we are creating a complete platform for the IoT. And this complete platform is basically the junction of hardware, software, but also worldwide telecommunications with over 600 global communication contracts under the hood.
Platform is a loaded word. Orlando, platform is a very loaded word in IoT, so I want to spend some time talking about it. But before that, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, from what Damir's intro, I'm just amazed at your thinking. So tell us who you are, what you've done, how you've come to do this thing, to start this company. Before that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, actually, I started in Germany. My graduation was in automation systems, and very early during that graduation we were working on distributed object-oriented systems, which was actually a few years ahead of the entire movement, and basically had already all this IoT thinking into place, but very soon I forgot that again, because I started then later at Siemens and then later at Nokia. And then in 2011, when I was at Nokia, basically the entire machine-to-machine story came again. And basically what happened was Here, as well as all the other competitors, they were working on software platforms for the IoT. And whenever we engaged with customers, we actually got to a conclusion where our customers had to spend lots of their efforts and time in basically gluing everything together. So our idea was actually, software platform is not enough. What the customer actually needs is basically a collection of tools and tool sets which provides the visibility of the sensor as if he had a direct connection to that sensor. And that basically is what we do. So we sometimes call it as IoT as a service, because we provide the entire pipe from the cloud to the sensor, so that basically if you want, you can regard us just as the communication means to get the sensor data. So basically it's for you as if you are communicating directly with the sensor, and you don't have to care about anything else. So it's really an immediate possibility to create your project.
This is actually fantastic, because for me, I come from eBay and e-commerce from a software background. And so for me, the introduction to IoT was all kinds of devices all around me. And then I started dabbling with them, and then I realized there's the hardware, there's the software, there's the connectivity, and there is more incompatibility in IoT than the number of devices or companies out there. And so now when I teach an IoT business course, I make my students in Stanford, actually build an IoT device for the experience to understand the complexity. And I tell you, every one of my students will appreciate what you're giving, because I had to give them something that they could just go and build a solution, right? Because finally they want to solve a problem, and then they go off and write a business plan. And but I had to make them experience the incompatibility, to appreciate where there is gap to innovate and where they could make decisions differently, right? You can actually decide to have a high bandwidth or low throughput, whatever, your how data collection frequency, all of it could be decisions you make tied to your hardware or your sensors and your connectivity and everything else. So help me understand a little bit, because one of my thinking about this is service is finally what sells in the enterprise, and the enterprise doesn't want to deal with device deployment and managing when the one device goes out, and whether there's a battery that's dying on one particular device and all that stuff, right? So do you cater to specific industries? Because I think if you're doing this for healthcare, then they're just dying to have this solution, and they don't want to even understand that you're giving them 5 pieces. They just want you to give a block, some unit, and say, here's the setup cost and here's my monthly cost, or however you charge. Or manufacturing, it's a totally different thing. So did you go after a specific vertical? Help me understand. Your solution, does it cater to a specific vertical, and what does it have in it?
Yes, so we want basically to be a platform provider, because we think that is broken, or 80% of expenses go into building the platform itself, and just 20% into building the actually solution or the business value. And we want to change that. So we want really to give the people in the future the possibility to focus, so that they can build really their products. But until that happens, a lot has to happen. So we had to focus on one vertical. And that being said, the vertical we selected basically came naturally from the first customer request IoT platform. Those were in the logistics area, because albeit logistics being a very old business, and cold chain logistics, basically, which is the main area within logistics where we focus, being already over 100 years old, it's still a very old industry, and that the tools which are today available are archaic. So IoT can really bring a lot of value to these customers, and with our simple a very effective solution. We can provide real-time alarming, reporting, all out of the box and with very low price points to our customers. So we can actually revolutionize some of the steps in logistics today using IoT.
So help us understand, for people who don't know logistics. I'm just thinking, when you say logistics, it could be, shipping containers that you're tracking, or it could be FedEx. I don't know, right? So help us understand when you say logistics. And I don't know if you can name your customer or any specifics. That's fine. What you can tell us just that. But help us understand.
Yes.
What is the business problem? What are we solving? And what is your solution doing? And where's the ROI in IoT?
So the problems we are solving in the cold chain logistics is mainly the transportation and storage of goods which need to be cooled. We have the problem that hundreds of children vaccines are administered to children, and this vaccine controlled, so people don't actually know that these vaccines are not active anymore. So people end up dying.
So you're actually you're focusing on shipping vaccines that have to be kept in a certain temperature from source to destination.
Yes, and also storage. Just half a year ago in Pakistan, over $1.3 million worth of vaccines got spoiled just because someone wasn't careful enough with using a door. So even within storage, a lot of harm can be done if you're not taking care of it. So, of course, the long transportations of vaccines is a problem, but storage of vaccines and also other perishables like food need to be really controlled. I knew some time ago, but even airplanes today, they are manufactured basically using these compound materials. They are basically based on the usage of chemicals, and these chemicals need to be transported and stored under very strict temperature ranges. And if you cannot ensure that, you put people into harm because of flight safety. So we are actually with the airplane manufacturer to control this, and these are use cases which you just come to know when you are deeply inside one vertical. So that's also the reason why we actually want to focus just on a product company, but in terms of platform, we are available to license our platform or to give our platform to other companies who want to focus on their own verticals, because you need a lot of knowledge within every vertical to be able to bring really this kind of business value.
So the shipping, it's shipping during transportation and storage for
correct,
trucks.
Yes.
It could be for trucks or it could be in planes, and you manage sensitive temperature of material transported. Is it even for groceries that you do?
Yes, even for groceries. Yes, that's actually quite interesting. We are working with a supermarket which delivers the groceries home to people, and we can provide them the readings so that people know when they receive the groceries at home that the groceries, the fish products, the meat products, that they were always transported within the right temperature chain. We have also restaurants who want to show to their customers that they are adhering to high food quality standards. This because of the recent problems that we have seen in Europe, but also in the US. I think Chipotle, we had recently a problem with the food safety. So this is really a big problem. And besides helping with the health of people, also if you get to know that 30% of food perishes today, so we have problems really having sufficient food for all the population. 30% of it perishes away because we don't have the right manufacturing, cooling systems, and distribution systems in place. This is really horrendous, I think.
So in your case, you have a bunch of sensors, which are basically temperature sensors or humidity sensors, and you deploy them, and you have a time series of the data that you collect, and you provide that.
But it's a platform, so you can add any kind of sensor to that. And since it's a platform, you can even download applications towards the sensors. So what today is a temperature sensor, you can give it then in the next point, you can give them another application, for instance, beaconing. They can also support beaconing if you want. So it's really a comprehensive platform where you can transform the things according to the need that you have.
That is cool. And how do you charge your customers?
We charge per month, so it's a cloud-based pricing for the SaaS, and then a one-time fee for purchasing the sensor.
Okay.
The cloud fee also includes the communications, so you don't have to care about how much communications are used up by the resource, because it's blended into the entire pricing.
So what would be the communication? Because it's trucks that are shipping. So do they have to have a carrier service? Do you have like a partnership with Ericsson or Verizon or somebody?
We have actually the second biggest roaming portfolio worldwide, so it's bigger than what you have, what Verizon, for instance, have. So our communication portfolio is way bigger than what Verizon can provide today as a global communication provider. So we have about 3 to 4 operators in every country. So it's about over 600 contracts.
Wow. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And I want to go back to Damir, because one of the things when I had spoken to Damir in our previous show, like a while back when he was running the accelerator, is he just doesn't take anything at face value, right? If I say, this is so awesome and here's the sensor and this is the most amazing thing, he would try to find a cost-effective, a different way of doing it. So tell me, what is your role in this, and what is your take as you find these customers and how you're deploying this?
Well, in case of Orlando, I came in to, try the different angle, to try, or, also bring a little bit, help, simply, definitely Orlando's team will be growing up, and, that's one of the things which I will do, help him do the business. On the other hand, what I'm doing with my own initiative, let's say it this way, I said that I cannot reveal the actual work that I'm going to do,
Super
but
secret. Yeah, I have to wait for 3 weeks or something for the super
secret.
No,
I can tell you that one of the biggest companies in Czech Republic in the hardware business has asked me to actually build an IoT as a service platform, which is not anything that competes with Orlando. In this case, they want to build a platform that will be able to run on any kind of a vendor. So it doesn't matter if you use, Google's products, Samsung, Apple, whatever possible in this world.
Any product as in hardware product?
Any kind of a hardware product you can use. Doesn't matter who is the producer. My goal is to actually build a platform which can be unique and then, be able to control all of these devices, which is actually in today very problematic because all of these producers are only doing that for themselves. Eventually, maybe some of them letting others, to play in, but otherwise they just want to stay in their own backyard, which I want to actually jump in a little bit, piggyback on all of that. And the other one is not so secret, but it's still waiting a couple of approvals. It's actually for the city of Berna to build an e-government platform, which in this format, based on our consultants, which is a very known company in the world. But
so we lost you for a minute. Damir, we can't hear you. So we'll wait for him to come back. He's talking about a connected city initiative that he's doing.
Yes. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. We lost you when you said for the city of Brno you're doing something.
Yeah, for the sorry.
Stopped
Yeah,
in shock. So now you can
not a
tell us
problem.
a little bit.
For the city of Brno, I'm waiting for the final decision in order to build the most comprehensive and complex e-government. Because usually what happens is that in any city, any e-cities like Tallinn or London, they're building e-government just purely for the governmental purposes, nothing else. Like e-signature and a quick processing of documentation, but nothing beyond that. In this case, we are talking about very, very complex platform where you have public services, where you have transport, where you have services of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which means national IDs and passports. We are talking about primary schools, kindergartners. We are talking about many services which are run within the city. Not the public service as such. Which is connected with the municipality. But for example, you get notifications when your neighborhood is being regularly cleaned by the local company, so to move your car. Otherwise, it will be picked up and taken away. And everything, the city. The point is to have a city as not only as a living lab but a living being. So
Yes, a living being.
Yeah.
That sounds very scary.
Yeah, it's not scary in the form that you think Big Brother will attack us. That's not going to happen. But the thing is, this is going to be in the service of the citizen directly. It's, in many of the cities and countries as well. People tend to I don't like something. Let's organize referendum. It's expensive. It's time consuming. And in this way, one of the topics which will be incorporated is in fact an opportunity, like for the idea camp, where people can actually, if you're thinking that you have a better idea or something like that, open your voice, say it loud, say it what you recommend, and let's do it if it makes sense.
So there's an active citizen participation. So the city of Brno in Czech Republic.
Yes.
Actually building out a smart city initiative, but you're saying it's not just getting all the city initiatives onto a platform with IoT, but it is doing it in a very collaborative way involving citizens.
Exactly. If as citizens are never happy. So if you're not happy, say it, but don't just be unhappy. Come with a proposal. The people in the working municipality, they are not the godfathers of every possible idea on the planet. So if you have the better one, jump in, say it. We will support you. We will actually give you necessary project funds, and do it yourself.
So it is not just the city is going to do it. It is actually going to fund it to do it. Fund somebody else to do it. So
you as a citizen make a valuable idea which makes sense. Feel free. But it's going to be, as any project in the world, you have your KPIs, SLAs, you have to deliver it as agreed. It's not just, I got the additional pocket money. No, my friend, that doesn't work.
So this sounds like a huge undertaking. How long has it been going on? When is this going to become live, or is it a phased approach of going live?
No, actually, the final approvals actually for the project team, and believe it or not, we are expecting to have actually first phase delivered by the end of the year.
I would love to call you back and see your shiny new.
Well, let's say next February, if everything goes well, we'll be able to talk about this in a very, very, as many as possible details.
That is awesome. In fact, you should walk around your city and show me demos. That would be really cool.
Well, probably I will bring you here, so come and enjoy it yourself.
That would give me a reason to visit. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So let me go back to Orlando. So that gives a beautiful feel for Brno. When we don't know the city, we don't assume that it is this super exciting smart city, right? So now I know there is a smart city cooking there in building up in Czech Republic. So let me go back to Orlando. And I know you're a serial entrepreneur and you painted a picture of what your customer platform is and how you solve for it. Tell us a little bit about the startup scene in Sintra around you. I mean, do you live in Sintra? Is that why you just built in Sintra, or is there a reason, why you chose Sintra? And is there a ecosystem that helps you to do what you do? Tell us a little bit about your ecosystem and what you see of the IoT ecosystem there.
Yes, so actually we started in Lisbon. It's Portugal's capital. It's a very, very interesting, very nice city, also very active in the smart city space. So there's a lot of projects ongoing for smart cities. But Sintra is actually very interesting for us, a World Heritage Site. It's a UN World Heritage Site, so it has, like Brno, very, very old town, very over thousands of years old buildings, and it has a unique. You have industry there. You have beaches. So it's actually the kind of place where actually dreams come true. So if you see it, it's like a Disney movie. The kind of city it is, like Brno.
Wow.
Brno is also like that. So I mean,
so are you inviting me there too? Because I'm going to go to Czech and
yes.
Portugal, and then it's
Yes,
what,
yes,
3,000?
you need to visit us both, because you see, basically it's very easy to transform a capital like Lisbon into a smart city. It is much more complex to do it, for instance, in Sintra or in Brno, because this have, although Lisbon also has that, and we have historical sites that you need to preserve. You cannot change simply the way very old buildings look in their character. So the characteristics of this kind of city is very interesting, and this makes actually the kind of set up for us, because the technology must be in the background. It must serve the people, it must serve the site, it must serve the city. And this is the kind of value that we get of being in Sintra. So we are connected to the city directly, we are connected to the companies working there, and this gives us an immense set of opportunities.
So you're there because other than it's a beautiful city like Disneyland, you're saying, you have the customers, the industries you're talking about. Is there a specific startup ecosystem that helps you build out and get started? Is there?
Incubated in startup. It's a startup initiative by the city itself, and it's actually in an industrial park, and the interest of companies who don't understand IoT, that they see how they can innovate their processes, the help of us startups. So it's really a give and take situation where the startups get very fast customer feedback, and the old companies get very easy access to startups to innovate their products.
This is very cool. This is very unique. This is one thing I love about this whole, IoT day around the globe, because there are different kind of startup ecosystems, different kind of, citizen collaboration, private industry collaboration. So here you're saying in Sintra, Portugal, that you have industries who want to figure out how to utilize IoT, and you have the city funding the startups to do this collaboration and help them get there. And then you work iteratively with the customers, understanding the real problems and building out solutions. It's beautiful.
Right.
I love it. I just love it. So we have to wrap up. Any last minute, do you want to add anything, Damir? Any last comment you want to tell people on IoT Day?
Well, I can tell you one thing, just recently I read an article from a very successful entrepreneur from Czech Republic, and I fully appreciate him, what he says. But one sentence he said was both true and false. He said that Internet of Things could become a new bubble because preoccupation with the variables. I agree that the preoccupation with the variables is a problematic. Everybody thinks, I have a wearable, I'm the IoT-oriented person. No, my friend, you have a tool, you have a gadget, you have a toy. That's it. But I disagree that the IoT will be a bubble, because I see IoT is a simply next step in the evolution of.
Okay, we're going to come back to Damir. Orlando, do you have any last minute thoughts to say? So Damir, we lost you for a minute, but you said it's not a bubble. You said it's the next step in the evolution of
Exactly. Exactly. It's the next step in the evolution in both the technology and the business as well.
Okay.
So whoever does that, don't be discouraged with any kind of a news you hear. Do it 3 times more than necessary, but the thing is, very soon you will see the results.
Okay, cool. So Orlando, I go back to Orlando. Do you have anything that you want to add?
Yes, I actually agree with what we see today is basically the culmination of the last 20 to 30 years. Now IoT will really be basically seeing its prime time. It's like virtual reality and IoT. We are working on that for the last 20 to 30 technologies, and also the use cases where you can use them. And what I see is really very similar to what happened in the 80s with the PC industry. Prices and use cases are there, so the price points cannot be matched, and we can really every company, as the PC brought computation to every company. So this is really like the PC revolution. So it's really very, very exciting times.
Beautiful. So that's the time we have for today's show. Thank you, Damir, and thank you, Orlando, and thank you, everybody, for watching. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.